like they're married. You just say word.
Welcome. I'm Tom Bartesi, Sergeant at Arms. Wonderful to see everybody today. We have members, we have guests. We're gonna have a lot of fun tonight. For our guests, I fill the Sergeant of Arms role, which means I kick off every meeting. Please silence your phones. And if you need to use the restroom, it's out the door and to the left. And a couple announcements. Last week was our open house. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Karen, you came, right? How did we do last week? Yeah, you enjoyed it. Yeah. Oh, so we can only go downhill from here. No, I don't mean that. No. I mean, she set the, well, no, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't, you guys, you get this all twisted. No, but I will have to say we were on our best behavior last week. So you may notice it's a little rougher this week around. Okay, but also for our members, December 9th, which is a Tuesday evening, no meeting. We're going to have our annual holiday get together at my house. So that will be on the 9th. We'll make more announcements before then. White elephant gift is required. No, spend more than $20. And if you need instructions on what the white elephant gift is, let me know. Without any further ado, our acting president tonight, Chris Giannetti. Chris, opening comments.
Thank you, Mr. Bartesi.
Yep.
Appreciate you kicking us off.
Yep.
Him and I have been partners in crime in the Gatos Toastmasters since 2019. So it's been a good ride, a lot of progress and a lot of new faces, and excellent stories and experiences have been shared, especially last week. We had 4 inspirational speeches about the superpower that public speaking is, being able to convey your thoughts, to be fluid, dynamic, charismatic, and to captivate your audience, whether it's a personal event or a work event. We talked about Toastmasters history. We talked about Pathways, which is a structured way of learning when you are a Toastmaster, so you continuously make progress. So thank you all for coming back. It feels like a bit of an open house again. We have 4 guests that have returned. So we must have done something right. And we have a great night tonight. We have Anant. He's going to be our featured speaker. We have our functionary roles. We have more time tonight for table topics, which is a perfect time for our guests to come up here and not be over here, but kind of feel what it's like to have the attention on you and to not say, oh, I love the attention, but rather I want to feel comfortable in it so I can enjoy the moment versus dreading that moment. We all get nervous. We all get tight. We want to move up in our careers. We want to find that next big role. We want to expand our businesses. We want to influence people on the board of certain nonprofits. We want to influence those in the tech industry. Maybe you're in the legal profession. Maybe you're a medical professional and you need to inspire the next generation of healers in the world. That's what we're here to do. Maybe you're someone who's always advocating for international investments. Vivian Mao. So with that, I want to hand it back over to our Toastmaster this evening, who will be Tom, Secretary, Tom, Christina. Please welcome Christina, Toastmaster this evening. Welcome back.
All right. So I'm really bummed that I missed the open house last night. I heard that it's apparently the best performance. So great, for me to follow Chris as a Toastmaster last week. So hopefully I won't, disappoint all of you. But before we get into the agenda, should we have the guests to come up, introduce yourself, since we do have a little bit of time tonight. So I don't know who wants to volunteer to be the first. Cool, please come up. Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting thrown right into this thing. Let's see. My name is Dan Migliori. I just live not too far off of Blossom Hill Road. I was just sharing, I woke up in the middle of the night and I was thinking about Toastmasters, and I'm like, I've always wanted to do Toastmasters. So looked it up, saw that this was, 2 miles from my house. And so I said, well, I'll go and check it out and see how it goes. So that's why I'm here. I've never done it. I do recall my dad did it many when I was a little kid. So I guess I'm assuming Toastmasters has been around for a very long time. So, yeah. He's close to being over 100. So thank you for having me.
Awesome. Okay. All right, who wants to come up next? Any? Yes. Yes. Okay, come on, welcome.
Hello, I am Judy Code and I live over in Campbell, not far from here. I'm friends with Karen and she came last week. We are hiking buddies and so she was telling me about it on a hike. That's the best way to get me to talk normally is on a hike. And I live with my husband. He was telling me tonight, he remembered that he did Toastmasters as part of his Eagle Scout badge. So that's has been a while. So that's all I got.
Welcome.
Thanks.
All right, so Karen, do you wanna come up and share?
Yes, let's do it again.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I'm still a guest because I'm not a member. My name is Karen Bonadies and I live less than a mile that way. I saw a young man who gave a speech at a wedding and it was terrible. It was just so embarrassing. And his wife talked him into going to Toastmasters. And so at his brother's wedding, which happened maybe half a year later, he was spectacular. And I thought, I want to do that. But that was a couple of years ago. So I'm a little late, but I'm here. So that was my motivation. Yeah.
Never too late to start, right? Oh, yeah, please. Michael, yeah.
My name is Michael Fidel, and this is my second meeting as a guest. Probably my last meeting as a guest because I'm looking forward to becoming a member. I understand that there's these different pathways you can choose. From a professional standpoint, I obviously need to focus on that, but I'm kind of intrigued by the humor pathway. You know, so yeah, the comedic timing has always, been kind of fascinating to me. So are you able to do more than one pathway? I think you've done quite a few, right? Okay. So start with one and then second one. Yeah. I'm on engaging humor. As you can tell, it may seem like I'm a natural funny person up there, but I've been working at it a lot.
See, just like that.
I wasn't born with it. Okay. So anyway, I'm looking forward to joining you all. Thanks.
Welcome, Michael. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Come up here. Yeah.
My name is Anna and I live in Campbell, like probably 4 miles away. And the reason I am here is because I want to feel more confident, of course, in public speaking, but also in my job. And yeah, that's the main goal.
All right, welcome all of our guests. As someone who joined Toastmaster about roughly 6-7 months ago, I can personally say that I have learned a lot from this club, from this supportive group compared to 6 months ago. And I just want to say that you will definitely find the most supportive group here, a very, very safe environment where you can, sandbox and try different things. I really learn about, what you're capable of. So welcome and hope you will enjoy this club as much as I did. All right. Okay, cool. So jumping into today's agenda, we have the one and only speech by Anand, who will be evaluated by Isaac. We have a table topic that's going to be hosted by Vivian. So short and sweet agenda, but we'll have plenty of time for table topics. So it will be an exciting session. So moving on to functional reports. So Padmaja. Oh, okay, sorry if I pronounced the name right. So we'll be over timer today. So do you want to come up here and tell us a little bit about what it means to be a timer? Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Padmaja. I'm going to be your timekeeper today. So today for the speech, this is to ensure that to create awareness about the time and to ensure that your speeches are going on track and to ensure the meeting is going smoothly. For speeches, for prepared speech, I'll show the green card. Where's the green card? Green card at 5 minutes. the yellow card at 6 minutes, and the red card at 7 minutes. You'll have a few minutes. When I show the red card, you'll have a few seconds to wrap up your speech. For the next one, which is for speech evaluators, I'll show the green card in 2 minutes, yellow card in 2.5 minutes, and red card at 3 minutes. For the table topics, I'll show the green at 1 minute, yellow 1.5 minutes, and red in 2 minutes. Yes. Okay.
Only speaker, so it's 8 to 10 minutes, so green at 8, yellow at 9, and red.
Okay, noted.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Could I get the sports since it's open? To give a speech? Okay.
Okay.
We'll leave an evaluator for next week.
That would be a repetition of the previous one, this correction.
Who will be our evaluator?
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Right.
See how we do that?
Yeah. This is how dynamic we are, but I love it. All right, so moving on to our counter. Alicia will be our own counter for tonight. Do you want to come up here and tell us what it means? Let's welcome Alicia.
All right, good evening, everyone. I will be your odd counter for tonight. So I'll be listening out for any filler words, any repetition of words, and I'll also be notating it to give you guys the feedback at the end. But I look forward to your speeches. And also, if you guys use the same word over 5 times, I won't let you know the amount. I'll just give you that general phrase there. But yeah, look forward to the speeches tonight. Thank you.
And Chris will be our grammarian for tonight. So let's welcome Chris.
Grammarian. The dreaded role of being critical about language. But no, we want to point out good things that we hear, phrases that inspire us to have visual pictures in our mind. Also things that could have been said a little bit smoothly or differently, of course. I'll be focusing mostly on our speakers tonight, Anant and Alexi. The word of the day to have fun with, to try to use, even though it may seem a little overused, is crucible. So please try to use crucible. We have fun with language here. A crucible in its world's literal use is a pot in which metals or other substances are heated to a very high temperature or melted. But crucible is more often encountered in figurative language, referring to the difficult test or challenge. So sometimes public speaking at an event can be a bit of a crucible for all of us, a test of our will, of our soul, of our character. And in Toastmasters, we learn to overcome that over time and to embrace that moment. So let's do that here tonight together.
Thanks, Chris. Last but not the least, let's welcome Tom to tell us, what it means to be a general evaluator for tonight.
I'm Tom. I'll be the general evaluator. That role simply is I observe the meeting from start to finish, and then at the end, I'll give a report, what we did well, anything we may want to work on for further meetings, and any other general observations of the meeting. But 2 other things quickly. One is for our guests. We have an agenda here, and every week the agenda stays the same, but who fills which roles change from week to week. So you, as a member, you have the option to fill any role from week to week. We sign up for roles 4 weeks in advance. We use an online platform. It's very easy, called Trello. So you start, if you become a new member, you start off small with maybe timer, or you were odd counter last week. Padmaja is our newest member. Now she's a timer this week, but that's how you do it. You start to get your feet wet a little bit with small roles, work your way up to bigger roles when you're comfortable. So agenda is structured, but who fills those roles from week to week? Next week, we'll have a different Toastmaster. It won't be Christina. Next week, we'll have different speakers, but we do have some structure here. The other thing I wanted to say is I've been a member of Toastmasters for 6 years. And when I first joined, I couldn't even get up here and say my name. Seriously, Chris remembers. I would come up here with a little sign saying what my name was. And then. Oh, but seriously, I could barely come up here and say my name. But through the crucible of Toastmasters, I've officiated a couple weddings. I've spoken at a few celebrations of life. I've been a character witness in front of a judge in a courtroom since joining Toastmasters. I've done a humorous speech contest, a lot of things outside of those things I could never have imagined doing prior to Toastmasters. So, but I committed to the process. I come every week. I take on roles. So the process works if you commit to it. It was a big goal of mine to become a better public speaker. And now, honestly, there's not a single speaking opportunity that I would shy away from. Whereas before, I would never volunteer for anything. Now I would be the first one to raise my hand. So it works if you want it to work. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I really want to echo what Tom is saying there. I think sometimes we have to take on the crucible challenge in order to really step outside our comfort zone, and that's where the growth happens. All right, okay, so without further ado, let's welcome Isaac to come up here and introduce our first speaker tonight, Anand. Let's welcome Isaac.
All right, thank you, Toastmasters. So I have the pleasure of introducing Anant Kumar. So the title of his speech is A Conversation with the CEO Shaping the Future of AI. This is a non-pathway speech. And at the description, this is a mock interview with the CEO of an AI company discussing breakthroughs, challenges, real-world impact, and the future of artificial intelligence. And I will be the media personnel. All right.
I think let's pull the chair.
Oh, okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. Today we have with us the CEO of Next Wave AI and one of the world's leading companies building enterprise scale artificial intelligence solutions. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Let's begin with the basics. In simple terms, what does Next Wave AI and what does Next Wave AI do, and what is your vision?
So at Next Wave AI, we are building artificial intelligence solution that helps people and enterprise make smarter decisions. But at its core, we want to build a company which provides accessible, useful, and trustworthy AI system which people and enterprises can use to build products which can help the society overall. And our mission is to become like a utility providing company, like electricity. So at the end of the day, you can rely on it to be there, invisible, available, reliable, and power everything behind the scene.
You often talk about how AI isn't just a tool, it can be transformative. Do you have a story that illustrates that?
Oh yeah, great question. So there is one moment that that still sticks with me. So we were partnering with, last year, we were partnering with one of the major healthcare network of USA, and that company used our system to detect post-surgery complications earlier. And there was one incident that was brought into my attention. There was a patient whose symptoms were clinically, data was not pointing anything abnormal, but our AI system detected subtle changes in the breathing rhythm of the patient, some swift temperature changes, as well as some oxygen saturations level. The changes were so subtle, it was very hard for a human eye to detect. But our AI system detected early and warned the doctor's team about that patient. And doctor intervened early and helped the patient, and patient could recover it very quickly. Had it been not detected by our AI system, it would have been too late for the patient and it could have been fatal. And I remember after a week of this incident, the doctor's team gave me a call and told me, your AI system did not just save the data point, but it saved a patient. And it really hit me back home that at the end of the day, we are developing technology for the people. Behind algorithm, there is a real use case, real people, real family, and real outcome.
That's an incredible story. What are some milestones your company is proud of?
So we have been really kind of in the trenches and in the works of catching up with the AI wave. And as every company wants to be AI, and we will see very soon in the future that every company will have the AI co-pilot embedded into it. And we are almost there. I think every company has working on it, but it's just a matter of time that everybody will have the products out which has the AI co-pilot built into it. We are working on at Next Wave AI. We are working on multiple fronts. We are building AI platform, monitoring platform, which can train, deploy, and monitor thousands of AI model deployed at our client site, and can do some good feedback built into the engineering, which can tell how our products are doing. And we can detect some of the failures even even before our clients encounter those. Also, we are building the AI visibility fabric based on the Google's DeepMinds technology that will ensure fairness and transparency, which is very vital in today's AI adoption. And third thing is we are working on reducing our footprints for compute. And also the AI is part of our software development lifecycle. So we are the first company in our peer group who publishes data, how much code is being written by the AI, as well as our code reviews are, some of the code reviews are code reviews, and some testing is powered by AI. And also we do some fairness testing and audit review so that our AI products response in fairness, and we do our due diligence that it does follow the ethical standard.
With such progress, what challenges keep you up at night?
Well, yeah. So there are three things which keep me up at night. First is the trust. The second is the scale, and the third is the talent. The trust is first and foremost in AI game, and this is the top cultural values at our company. And we want to build our company and products around trust, so that there is a great saying that if people cannot trust AI, they won't adopt AI. And for it to be a trustworthy, we need to publish, we need to make it transparent, like what kind of data our AI model was trained on, why it responded the way it responded, and what is its confidence score, so that people knows what the answer it was presented to, whether they can trust this answer or not. And the second thing is the scale. On top of the, from if you look from the 100 feet high, you see the AI is a model, but that's not just, model is not just the AI. It has the whole ecosystem. It has the data, it has the training, it has the inference, it has the scaling. It has all the bits and pieces in place that make the AI work as an AI. And we want to scale responsibly. We don't want to spend too much compute and to leave too much footprints on the energy resources. And the third is the talent. AI world is moving very, very fast. everybody who is aware of this space, they are having FOMO. I'm one of them. And the skills are expiring fast. And we are always in a lookout for better talent, people who can adopt the faster iteration cycle. And also we are investing heavily in the continuous learning process so that our employees stay ahead of the curve and can build a better products for our customers.
With those challenges, how do you keep your company ahead of the curve?
So we are doing three things mainly. We are investing in continuous learning. We know that we change our slogan from know it all to learn it all. So it won't be possible to know everything, but we are investing in continuous learning. And as a part of the company, we encourage continuous learning. And we have invested in providing set up some tutorials, some mentorship, and partnership with the academia. So that's continuous learning. The second is the AI in the co-pilot mode. So the human first AI. So we are building our products with the AI in the co-pilot mode, not in the autopilot. It means the human stays in charge, not the AI. And the third thing is responsible consumption of the compute to reduce our footprints for energy resources.
Looking ahead, what future do you see for AI, both broadly and for your company?
So as a future of AI, I think we are in the third phase of AI. The first was the predictive model. Around a decade back, many companies were having a products which can predict based on the previous data. They can forecast whether a sale would close or not, and what is the marketing campaign would look like, or the weather pattern and all kind of predictions it can do based on the data, based on the past data. The second phase of the AI wave was the generative AI, which started with arrival of the Chat GPT in the late 2022, where the AI could generate text, video, and audio. And the third is where we are in the agentic AI space, where the AI is actually collaborating with the team and becoming an actual team member who can work together closely with the team.
Many leaders here are thinking of adopting AI in their organizations. One piece of advice.
So my advice would be to start small and measure fast and scale responsibly, and pick a real world problem to solve with the AI, not just a toy solution.
Inspiring words. Thank you for sharing your journey and insights.
Yeah, thank you for having me here.
Yeah.
That was a very creative format. It's the first time I'm seeing interview format here at the Toastmaster. Really enjoyed it. So let's take a moment to scan the QR code on the paper at the center of this table to provide feedback for announced speech. Yeah, please. Yeah, I think they would appreciate the feedback and comments from the team. The top one, yes. I have to say that Anna, you speak like a CEO and you dress like a CEO.
I don't know about this.
Are you preparing for like a?
No, I'm not. So it's
Oh.
a sandbox for practicing me. I'm still
Okay.
way too far, But it's a good. I didn't want to do today. I didn't want to do a typical speech. Just want to have some fun.
Yeah.
So in the afternoon, I realized that only speaker, so I thought let's take benefit of it and go beyond my usual time.
Yeah,
So that's
no,
why I asked that. If I can do that.
that's awesome. Yeah. Is part of your answer impromptu? You kind of, wing it?
Sorry?
Did you prepare your answer on the fly or did you?
No, some of the answers were prepared.
Oh,
Some
okay.
of the things I had to think.
Got it. Cool. No, that's very fun.
What's the typical time somebody?
I think it was 5 to 7 minutes. For icebreaker is 4 to 5. All right, another 10 seconds to wrap up the comments and feedback for announce. That's good. All right, let's moving on to our next speaker, Alexei. Let's welcome B to come up here and introduce Alexei speak.
Thank you, everyone. So great to see everyone here tonight. So I am here to introduce Alexei, our very brave speaker, for our second prepared speech. The title of his speech is Technology and Environment We Live In. This is a pathway, a presentation mastery pathway speech, level 5, free topic. And Alexei's purpose is to work on his appearance, speed of speech, proper pauses, and managing hands and posture during speech delivery. And one sentence description of his speech is how technological development affects our daily life and its impact on the environment. So let's welcome Alexei.
First of all, I'm really impressed of this sort of cubicle of being able to read my handwriting. That's unusual. Definitely, even my kids can't. I'd like to talk today about technological developments through the history of human being, how it affects us, how it impacts our life, and why it is important to look around, to constantly check our environment to live in. So let's first just briefly talk what differentiates us from animals. Of course, we are sort of humans, we have brains, brain power, technology. We're totally different creatures than all animals around us. However, one of major difference that all animals, plants, they're part of ecosystem and they support this ecosystem. For example, predators, they hunt and kill, but they're part of ecosystem, they hunt and kill, but though they hunt and kill weak and sick. So it's known when in Canada, once decided that wolves cause too much trouble to farmers, so they exterminated all wolves. The result was multiplying of deer sick and weak, and it caused disease. And finally, deer started dying in much larger numbers that any kind of wolf could ever kill or hunt. And this is known. And probably you know history, like in communist China, when at some point they decided that birds, take too much crop from fields, so they killed all these birds, all of them. It was a big campaign. As the result was insects started coming in huge numbers because it turned out that those birds were kind of pretty much were eating those insects that came to fields, and they pretty much killed whatever they grew up that particular period of time. There are many examples of this. Now, why I'm talking about it? Because it makes us dangerous for ourselves. So let's talk about history of human beings. Like Stone Age, first technology, somebody invented a wheel, somebody learned how to use fire, invented stone tools, used bones, how to sharpen, use as a tool, you name it. First humans started using technology. So back then they did not have much impact on the environment just because the amount of people populating the earth. It was a small group of people isolated through spreads through huge territories. Doesn't matter what they did. Yeah, did not have much impact. So there was a theory just recently read that one of reasons that possibly mammoth wakes can disappear, it's just hunting human beings coming to the area. As funny as it sounds, it's very possible. The very reason is that northern territories, and I pretty much from the northern territory, not totally northern, but northern enough, they're very sensitive. They have an environment very just dependable on the condition. And any intervention in this environment causes big of trouble just because it takes years to recover. Just for example, when people started traveling far away, we bring our machines with us, of course, right? Started driving through all these northern territories. So any machine vehicle going through like tundra that causes damage that takes years to recover. Just whatever, just trail left from the vehicle moving through tundra. It's just not meant for that. They're meant for years, right? Going here and there, dying eventually, just utilized in the ground. Why I'm saying that? Because it's really important to take care of our environment, and maybe in a broader term that even like greenest of our time talk about. Let's take examples from history. Agriculture, it just propelled human being to the next level. People started living in the areas they could not afford to live before. Because hunting typically required large territory for a small group of people. However, it's immediately, not immediately, eventually it brought in many areas environmental disasters. For example, Middle East, back in time, several thousand years ago, was a prosperous territory. That's the reason why first civilization appeared in that region. It was green. Actually, ancient Egypt was a major supply of grain for ancient Rome Empire. That's the reason was why so many nations back then were fighting for Egypt. It was source of grain. The type of agriculture that was used in that time destroyed the ground. As a result, it caused huge deforestation through the whole region. So in place of what used to be green territories with forest, nowadays we have deserts, but many of these places, they were created by human beings. More later example, for example, using forest in the Middle East by Great Britain, Turkey for building ships or building railroads. So the result, Lebanon is pretty much right now left without any forest, or Syria, for example. So it's all created by humans. If we come into more modern time nowadays, we live, regardless how we consider ourselves driving Tesla or driving old diesel car with lots of smoke. We live through consuming environment around us. In order to produce modern car, more advanced car, more resources manufacturing this type of car is required. For example, model electric car requires, I believe, 10 or 15 times more copper than any kind of older car, like a gasoline car, just because of electronics inside. Now, we all like our iPhones or computers. All these electronics require rare earth materials. Production of these materials super polluting, very dangerous, and there is no way around. This is the reason why it was over the last several decades moved to other places other than America, for example, like China, which is monopolized. Reason is we need it in order to develop clean technologies, but these technologies that required for developing clean technologies kill environment. Unfortunately, right now, there is no way around. Same for energy. We're talking about AI. AI requires energy, and there is big discussion right now in America about it. Lots of energy, where to take it. It turned out all these resources from wind to water is not enough. So now we're talking about, again, about using natural gas or coal or nuclear energy. None of these technologies really absolutely environment safe. All of them cause damage to the environment. So we developing AI in order to achieve a new level of technologies, but in order to do it, we need to kill part of the environment we live in. Unfortunately, this is an equation we cannot be free of. We always should consider it and take into account. How to do it, this is another question and a topic for another lecture. Thank you.
Alexa, let's also take a minute to scan the QR code and provide comments and feedback to Alexei. This is the second time I'm hearing this speech, although I feel like it's still a slightly different version. You added a lot more information, exactly improved. Yeah, Alexei was literally writing down the speech as, you know, some of the conversation were happening. So really admire your courage to provide an impromptu speech here. Just 10 seconds. All right, let's move on to the next session, which is the most exciting part of tonight. Let's welcome Vivian to host our table topic session for tonight.
Evening, everyone. I'm glad that some of our guests didn't get scared by my speech last week. So thanks for coming back again. And I remember when I was at school, one of the ways to get away from all this excitement of being called upon by the professors or teachers is to volunteer first, or be the person to volunteer other people. So today I will be the table topics person, and I will get to pick on the next volunteer. So get ready. But today I would like to start something a bit more interesting. We have talked a lot about technologies, about AI and all that. So we switch gear a little bit to something more fun, something a bit more imaginative, and get our creativity flow. So I have prepared quite a bit of the topics with the help of no, I wouldn't do that. Plain old Google search. Yeah. Okay, so yes, that's really cool stuff. Okay, so whoever wants to volunteer first, or being volunteered by me, let's go from the very far. Mike, do you like to try? It was like, yeah. And we're gonna give you a topic, and then you have a minute, 30 seconds to think about it, or and you can say, I want another topic.
Oh, okay.
Fine too. Or you can.
Yeah, force yourself to speak at least a minute. You're like, I'm done after 20 seconds. Continue trying to filibuster.
Okay, so I'm just gonna pick any topic, right?
Okay.
Okay, if you had to be stuck in an elevator with an celebrity, who would you choose and what would you talk about? Good celebrity, bad celebrity, any celebrity that you can pick.
Okay. So I've contemplated this question in the past. I would imagine everyone else has as well. Something comparable. Who would you like to meet? And what would you say if you were able to meet them? And there's really, I don't think there's many celebrities per se that I want to meet in the traditional sense of the word. There is one or two more in a spiritual sense. So I've always thought it'd be nice to meet and speak with the Dalai Lama. And I was able to go on a trip, I guess it's been about 10, 15 years ago. I went to the northern part of India, Ladakh and Leh, and I got to trek in the Himalayas. And what I learned was before, so Tibet and northern India used to be one country, one
region that was eventually divided in two. And then when China took control of Tibet, and it was divided further from that, separate from, that northern part of India. And this eventually led to Buddhism being divided. And some would say that the truest form of Buddhism is still in northern India because it was never influenced by China. I was actually able to meet with the head of a monastery and ask him a question. And I would ask the same question to the Dalai Lama, which is, it would seem that Buddhism, which is a way of life, doesn't necessarily conflict with other religions. And could you, in fact, do both? And that would be my question. When I spoke with this head of this monastery, the answer was, you should follow only one path. So, I don't know if it's been a minute. But
It's been, you've been wonderful. 2 minutes, I think, yeah.
I thought you would say whatever path that you would like to pick. I thought that would be the answer. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Right. Mhm, mhm. One thing I could think of quickly is Buddhism's tend not to eat animal, right? So to be vegetarians, that will be a huge difference between other religions and that. So anyway, I'm not gonna take the center of attention because I'm the person who's gonna assign to other people. So let's find the next one. Oh, no, I'm gonna do that. I finally got the chance to do that. Yeah, my turn. Okay. So not today, not now. All right, so Karen, would you like to try? So I'm just gonna pick one topic and then you can decide what's the most useless talent you have. Oh. We can have a few, like me.
The most useless talent that I have. I try to be very useful. So this is very difficult.
Or least useful.
The least useful talent. Okay, but it has to be a talent. It can't be something that you're not good at. So,
What you
Um,
can find it, whatever.
yeah, right. Sorry.
No problem. Would you like to try another one?
Yeah, I really would. Yeah. I really would.
If you were a vegetable, what would you be and why?
If I was a vegetable, what would I be? Okay.
You would like to meet Michael who eats everything. Not just that.
I do love vegetables. This is really hard. But probably a carrot because a carrot is bright colored. If they're properly curated and grown, they are delicious and crunchy. And I think that they offer a lot of fiber. And so I would want to be that vegetable because I would want to offer that to whoever was eating me. And I understand that phytonutrients are quite important these days. And also fiber is a prebiotic, which is very good for your gut. So I would want to be something that really added added value to the person who is eating me. I mean, think about it. Carrots they're purple, they're orange, some of them are red. We all think of the carrot as orange, but hey, let's think outside of the box here. There just are a lot of different colors in vegetables, and they can be roasted, they can be grated and eaten raw. It doesn't really hurt you to eat a raw carrot. And I have found that Most people and children like carrots. So it's not an unpleasant vegetable to most people. They tend to like them. And so that is why I would want to be a carrot.
I'm so impressed. Yeah. Wow. From not being able to find something to like, wow, just develop a topic to something so much different than just the carrots. Awesome. Good job. All right. So I'm going to invite your neighbor next door, Judy. Judy or Judy. I think somebody asked Judy. I can see that you are not very enthusiastic.
No, I am not very excited about this.
Oh, this is probably very, very relevant then. What's the most awkward situation you've ever been in?
Awkward situation.
Not this one.
Not this one, huh? Awkward situation. Can't think of one. What about the most awkward? I can tell you about lots of awkward situations. It's really awkward if you walk up to a woman who is, and you say, "Are you pregnant?" Or "Tell me when the baby's due." And really, she's just needs to lose a little weight, maybe. That is very awkward. It would be awkward if I tripped on the little piece of the sidewalk walking along and fell, and people were walking on the other side and saw me do this little face plant. That would be awkward. I would not like that. It's kind of awkward, you know, like if something happens and you start cussing a string of cuss words and you wish you hadn't, and somebody hears you. And that would be pretty awkward. So gosh, she hasn't held up any of those cards yet. See what else is awkward in life. You know, when you have something in your teeth and no one, you know, like you really wish you had a really good friend there right that second that would tell you about it, and you could just kind of politely go in there and get rid of it. But that doesn't happen sometimes. That would be pretty awkward, especially if you find out about it a long time afterwards. That would be awkward. So I don't know. Other awkward, some I can think of awkward things that I really don't want to tell you about. So
You're good.
okay, yay.
You really try to hold on to it. Good job. That's great. Okay. So then what else? What's the most ridiculous rule you've ever heard of or had to follow?
What is the most ridiculous rule I've ever heard of or had?
Like IRS?
Yeah. Let's see. The most ridiculous rule, or what was the most ridiculous rule,
That
or
I've heard or had to follow.
had to follow? Let's see. Gosh, can I have another topic? Sorry. I was going strong and then I just couldn't think of anything.
I thought that you were gonna just talk about how IRS being silly and all
Yeah,
that. Okay.
no, sorry.
Okay. All right. What's the strangest nickname someone has given you?
Oh, okay. The strangest nickname that someone has ever given me. Well, when I was in junior high, we had this older guy that me and my friends befriended, and he worked for Coors Company. And And what he did, he was a really nice guy. This was back in the day when you could just go over a stranger's house and things were safe. And so we would go over his house and hang out. And he was kind of, I think he was probably in his mid-20s, early 30s. And we would just, as young, junior high students, we would hang out at his house. And what we later on found out is that he worked for Coors, the Coors Brewing Company. And so he didn't give us beer or anything, but what he did have was these shirts. And it would have, Coors and Budweisers and I thought it'd be really cool to wear that to school, like a beer shirt. Like that's really cool as a, 13, 14-year-old. So I started wearing that shirt to school and it was one of my favorite shirts. So I wore it all the time. And then all of a sudden, because I wore it so much, people were calling me Bud Man, like Budweiser. But later on, people would call me Bud Man. That got, strewed into marijuana Bud, and I was once accused of being a drug dealer. So I don't let anybody call me Bud Man anymore.
Thank you. Thank you. Are we done? Do we get another minute or two for the last one? Come on. You want an easy one or difficult one or?
Easy one.
Okay, okay. All right.
This very easy one.
All right. What's a tradition or routine you look forward to every year? That should be easy, right?
A tradition or routine?
Mm-hmm. Or routine. Tradition like, I don't know, Christmas, Thanksgiving, I don't know.
Doing a challenging hike on my birthday. I got related to you guys because I am also a hiker. I try to hike every weekend. And now that the rain is starting, I'm a little sad because I have to be keeping the weather on track. But this past birthday, I submitted Mount Diablo. It was a very challenging hike and a lifetime story. So my friend and I decided to hike Mount Diablo, and it was all fun. It was a 14 miles hike and elevation gain for 1,000 feet, I guess. And we were up there around 3:30, I guess. And then there was no one passing by. And then all of the sudden, a guy was running really fast. And he was like, you guys know what time the parking lot closes? And we were like, no. And he said, oh, I think it's 5. And we're like, oh, we check our app, the app that we follow. And we were still like 4 miles away. So we start running, and what happened is that once we got the parking lot, I locked my car keys in the trunk with the doors locked. I'll continue this story.
Okay, so they are end my privilege today. So thank you, everybody.
We need to give Vivian more power moving forward. All right, thank you so much, Vivian, for engaging table topic session. Let's take a moment to go to the second page of the QR code form that you just scanned and vote the best table topic for tonight. Oh, names, yes, please.
Overflow of moment. And then as a drop and I think.
Awesome. That's a great summary. All right. Are we done with voting for the best one? I don't even think I can pick tonight because there are so many good ones. Okay, cool. Now let's moving on to the speech evaluations. Now let's welcome Isaac whenever you're ready. I know they are still voting to give a speech evaluation for announced interview tonight.
All right. So this is my first ever evaluation. I'm actually very intimidated to evaluate Anat. You know, you're very senior speaker, you know, and contest level speaker. But you know, I got that call to action that Tom was talking about last week, that the bat signal in the form of a Trello email that we needed an evaluator. I'll put my mask on and here I am. All right. So your talk was very interesting. I'm glad I got to be part of it. A very interesting first evaluation experience. But you had what caught my attention was just a lot of information, great information. You really knew your stuff. You know, you're talking about the patient story with the AI being transformative, keeping the company ahead with relevant talent, and know everything versus learn everything. You want to learn everything. So instead of having know-it-alls at the company. So it definitely felt like I was working there. So if you're hiring, just, you know, let me know. It was great. So your voice was great. I was right here, so I don't know how the back felt, but it definitely felt, you know, I felt your presence. Your voice was projecting very well. So I think you can't be too loud in general, you know, especially in an interview setting like that. I was kind of taken into that whole world of being a media personnel. So yeah, you know, be as loud as you can. The body language was exactly like a CEO. My dad was CEO for most of his career. So a lot of times he was more CEO than dad at times. And so I felt like I was talking to my dad, you know. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So the energy was solid, you know, very poised. You looked comfortable. Room for improvements, you know, slowed down a little bit. So you were kind of fast in the beginning, but I think you were just trying to settle down into the experience here. And you started pausing a lot more towards the end, which is great. That's very CEO-esque. That's what I would see in my dad. And even I worked at Chevron, so Mike Worth, you know, he very, very slow. They take their time, you know. I remember seeing a very popular podcast, The Diary of CEO. He was interviewing some behavioral scientists and talking about how the very smaller animals tend to be very fast and fidgety and move around very quickly, but then the stronger, you know, dominant animals like lions move at their own speed. You know, they walk around, take their space and their energy. So yeah, slow down, be even more comfortable, you know, lean back. I remember my dad would always do that, just lean back, take as much space as you can as a CEO. So to summarize this, felt like you really knew your company, very passionate about AI. Slow down, lean back because you're a CEO, you know, exude that aura, and overall great interview. And I'm honored to evaluate your speech. Thank you.
Thanks, Isaac. That's a great evaluation. I also want to say that you did a pretty good job interviewing Anant up here as well. Yeah. All right, so let's move on to our next speech evaluation. Let's welcome B to come up here and give the evaluation for Alexi's speech tonight.
Thank you, everyone. Well, this is not my first evaluation, but I'm still intimidated and very nervous. So I'm gonna try to get through the crucible of giving some good feedback. Also, I've been challenged to try to give constructive feedback to get better because I tend to be focused on the wow factor. And Alexi, I recall Vivian evaluating a speech of yours a while back and saying you come across as a professor, and you didn't disappoint once again. It always amazes me how much detail and how many pieces of information you can store in that brain of yours, and it just flows out of you in your speeches. And once again, you did that again. You had I think you met the objective of your speech. You wanted to discuss the impact of human development and technology on the environment. And I think you really did do that. The body of your speech felt like, well, let me go back to the introduction because I thought your opening was pretty compelling. You said, what differentiates animals from us? And you went on to say animals are part of an ecosystem. And then you gave us examples of that. One part where I struggled a little bit is I was trying to grasp how are we also the same, but I think the body of your speech sort of told us that because you're basically telling us that we too are part of an ecosystem and that whatever we do has an impact on the environment. So it was very interesting. You gave us a lot of examples from early on in agricultural development and the impact of that in Egypt, the car industry, and all the resources that that takes. You went on to talk about computer industry and pollution, and you even finished with AI and asked us to think about, you know, the demands on resources, which was really interesting following Anand's speech, right? To connect that to AI as well. And I think you did, I know you said you delivered the speech before, but it felt pretty fresh. I don't remember hearing it. So you must be making changes along the way. Okay, so one thing that I want to say also that you're doing so much better is I think you're trying to slow down a little bit as you speak. And the fact that I was able to catch these many details, I think says that you are slowing down because the very first speech I heard you, I felt like it was a whirlwind and I couldn't catch, you know, everything, but you're really starting to slow down a lot. So that's excellent. I would also challenge you to keep it trying to introduce pauses in your speech. It really helps, especially when you're giving us so much rich information. It helps us digest it and think about it as you're telling us the story. And then one other area that I think you could have done, developed a little more is the closing. It felt like in the closing, it felt like a one sentence closing where you were saying, we need to think about this more and explore this further. But I think you could have worked a little, made that a little richer, you know, maybe cut down the middle a little bit and just, you know, give us a more call to action type of closing. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to evaluate.
I think it's really hard sometimes to give constructive feedback, but I think that's also what's really, really important for any, you know, speakers to come up here and give a speech. I would say that also hearing your first speech before, I think the pause is much better actually compared to last time. And also the hand gesture and also using iPhone as the prop, I thought that was pretty good as well. All right, okay, so moving on to the last part of our tonight, which is functional reports. So let's welcome Padmaja, yes, to tell us how we're doing on timing.
Was wonderful speeches. It was such a crucible of an effort to actually pay attention to time while listening to the speeches. I was just so carried away by all the speeches and the impromptu speeches by the guests as well. Now, I'm just going to give a report of the time for Anand, who was the first speaker. Anand, you took 10 minutes, 50 seconds. I know this is a very different format. It was difficult to get the eye contact of both you and Isaac when I was showing the cards, but I understand it was a different feedback, different format. And for the second speaker, Alexi, you were on time, 7 minutes and 14 seconds, slightly over, but that was great. For the table topics, speaker one, Michael, I really love the Dalai Lama encounter and how you brought that into your impromptu speech. 1 minute and 50 seconds. Amazing for impromptu. Karen, really loved and laughed a lot on the carrot. It was difficult to keep track of the time. You did 1 minute, 24 seconds. Speaker 3 for table topics, Judy, about the awkward moments. 1 minute, 34 seconds. I know initially you were waiting for the green card and you actually went way over and well within the time. Speaker 4, Dan, really like the nickname, the strangest nickname. You were 1 minute, 28 seconds. And speaker 5, Anna, I can't wait to hear the rest of the story. I wish that you would go over time and finish the story. You were 1 minute and 33 seconds. Now going to the speech evaluators, Isaac for Anand's speech evaluation, you were right on time, 2 minutes and 49 seconds. B, really loved your speech evaluation as well, speech for Alexei's speech, 3 minutes and 10 seconds, slightly over. Thank you, everyone.
All right, great job for first time being a timer. Now let's welcome Alicia to tell us how we're doing on the filler words.
Okay, thank you guys. It was awesome listening to your speeches today. So we'll start with you, Anat. You had a really great speech. There's actually a lot of filler words on the sheet. Unfortunately, you did go over, but you were just, your biggest offense was just with one of the words. So it's, I heard it a lot, but overall, your speech was really good. So I would just say, keep an eye out for that in the future. You did repeat a few words as well, so keep an eye out for that as well. But you did do a great job with pauses in your speech, so it allowed us to follow along really well. So great job. And second, Alexi, you did a really great job. I only heard 3 ahs from you, so that's really good. There's a lot of filler words here, and you avoided them like the plague. So great job there. Yeah. You didn't have any like repetitious words, and yeah, you had a few pauses in there for us as well. So overall, great job.
Great.
Thank you.
Filler words are the hardest or most crucible challenge to overcome. Second time, someone better keep track of that. Oh yeah, speaking of the grammar, let's welcome Chris to give us a read on how we're doing.
Fun meeting tonight. I think we're gonna end right on time. I don't go too far over. Crucible was used by Tom and Christina and Padmaja, and I believe was there one other person? Alexi. Great job, Alexi. So let's use those words of the day if we can. What did I pick up? I kept things high level. Everything was pretty clean, but not the things that stood out for me were your phrase, behind the algorithm, there is a real use case, real people. So it's important that we connect technology with the actual end impact that it's going to have, and not just us on ChatGPT asking random questions and being amazed by it initially and then thinking, okay, it's not that special anymore. You also referred to, you also referred to AI as the AI. And I don't know how we refer to it, but it would sound more appropriate for me to say when AI does this, or we invest in AI versus the AI, like it's some omnipotent being, right? We haven't reached the singularity moment yet. If people don't trust AI, they won't use AI. I think this is very true. I think there's a whole concept now of we need to rush, but then we also need to convince people that it is beneficial for them and their communities, and it's not going to take all their jobs, and where we're going to put all these power plants and these nuclear facilities to create the energy for AI. It sounds great in theory, but when it's right in your backyard, it doesn't sound so appealing. The evaluator, Isaac, for Anat, I would just say you're very funny. You have a great warm presence up here, and things like, I got the bat signal, it made everyone laugh. You just had a lot of little funny additions that were appropriate. And we got to learn a little bit about your dad, but also how a CEO or a person in power would project power in a way that would make sense for that role. So thank you for sharing that. Just be more open and confident when you're creating, creating those funny moments. Will really help. Alexi, it makes us dangerous for ourselves. Something like that would have been appropriate to pause a little bit more. Let that really set in. What does that mean? And what is he going to speak about right after? I wrote down the ideas of pace and pronunciation. Slow down just a tad more, not much slower than where you're at, and really try to pronounce and pronunciate the words very clearly so we don't miss out on every key word and term that you're giving us. I think that's important. Just focus on that. Idea, I love this idea that everyone said, oh my gosh, it's a realization, but it's obvious. Dirty technologies are used to develop clean technologies. Dirty technologies came first, so that would make sense, but we don't think about it. We like to ignore. It's like when we go buy food or meat at the store. It's there, it's perfect, it's clean, it's wrapped up. But where did it come from? We don't really think about that very much. Our vegetarians in our audience don't need to think about that very much. Like Tom and Karen, maybe. I don't know. You're a carrot, right? Okay. B, our second evaluator. Thank you, B. Right down here. Great job tonight. I love some of the wording, like the opening was pretty compelling because it was. You had to really, you drew us in and you kept us engaged most of the time. And I like how you said it felt fresh. It just kind of resonated as well. So great job tonight. I do have the table topics winner. I'll just say it while I'm up here. It was a close race. Everyone did great, but it was between Karen the carrot and Dan Budman. I think Budman won it tonight. By a note. Great job.
Selling drugs in the back. Free for whoever voted.
How come it's not course, man? Like what? I know. Right. All right. Okay. In the interest of time, let's welcome Tom to give us the.
Okay, real quick, since we're running a little bit over, we started on time. We're going to end just a few minutes over. Just the big highlights, Christina. Great job as Toastmaster. You kept us on track. I really like how you bridged roll to roll with some small talk. You did a very, very good job doing that. Table topics, Vivian, very engaging. Got all the guests engaged. We welcomed all our guests. I guess the highlight of the meeting for me was our speech evaluators, Isaac and B. Terrific job. And for our guests, that's nobody's perfect here. And we're here to learn and grow. And the only way to do that is to get constructive feedback. And both Isaac and B gave our speakers constructive feedback. We're all, again, we're all here to grow and learn. That's the only way we do. We all have blind spots in our speaking performance, but someone has to point it out to us for it to really sink in. So that was the highlight. And other than that, let's finish up. Thank you.
Let's welcome Chris again to come up here and close our meeting for tonight. Chris, we don't, please be quick. We don't have another.
All right, thank you. More Toastmaster, great job, Christina. Hey. When she's not at Apple, she's in the East Coast, the Middle East, she's somewhere always doing something. And she's had some very creative speeches about work and perseverance in grad school and in corporate industry and different cultures and business settings. It's been amazing to hear from her. Thank you to all our guests tonight. Michael, Karen, Judy, Dan, Anna, Marianne. I have you unmuted and I have the video available to show your camera if you'd like. If you'd like to share a little bit about your perspective and impressions of our club tonight, feel free to add that at this moment. And while she gets ready, hi, welcome. Hi.
Everyone. My name is Marianne. First time being here. Super exciting. I learned a lot. I'm excited to be in person. Hopefully next week. I'm like half a mile away from you guys, but I was really inspired. I had a meeting with my manager today and I was like, what is one thing that I can work on before the year ends? And something that's been top of mind for me, I'm a recruiter, so I'm in a relationship heavy environment and I'm new to my role. I just started a little less than a year ago. So I think I have a lot of room for opportunity and my confidence and the way that I deliver information to executive leaders. So really excited. This was a really great first meeting. Everyone did phenomenal. And I have a list of notes to, practice and maybe record myself answering a few questions and review that later. So really great to meet you guys and hopefully I can see you in person next week.
No, Marianne, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're just protective. We used to be all open for everybody for virtual, but we had some Zoom bombers that came in and we said, let's kind of tighten it down a little bit. So we welcome you to come in person. It's a lot of fun. There's great energy. There's I'd say about 13, 14 people in the room, maybe a little bit more. And recruiting, you're reaching out, you're working with hiring managers, leaders, your applicants, you're presenting at big events to draw in the talent. There's a lot of use cases for this skill set there. You already have a great presence, but being able to do it virtual or in person is going to take you to the next level. So with that, let's keep focusing on all our journeys, what we want to focus on as individuals and professionals, and we'll hopefully see you all next Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to be here till 8 p.m. if anyone wants to ask any questions.